Good morning. It is 9 a.m. and thanks for tuning into our 30-minute streaming newscast that we like to call Daybreak Plus on WGRZ.
Daybreak Ice.
What is
That's
this?
ice on the camera lens.
You kind of gave us a description earlier this morning on Daybreak. You were talking about freezing drizzle.
Yeah, it's kind of like freezing rain. It just
but
think of it.
It's so cold, so why isn't it snowing?
Because you can get little tiny water droplets that are caught. Where did it go? Super cooled water droplets that don't freeze until they reach a surface. So whether it's a windshield or a sidewalk, and that can happen where below freezing temperatures doesn't turn the water droplet into an ice crystal. It's called super cooled. It's a part of.
This is very cool.
It's
cool.
It's.
Sometimes,
Weather 101.
Sometimes you really impress me.
But it's hard to explain the process of how a water droplet doesn't turn to ice. It does when it reaches a surface and then it freezes, but on its way down, it doesn't.
Well, we were having a lot of issues on the roads this morning. Dave Cash throughout Daybreak. I mean, there were a lot of accidents.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, so that is likely.
Yeah,
was it icy up on the roof? Is it icy? I haven't been outside since 2 o'clock.
It's a little, I mean, if you go to your windshield, it's very thin. We've had far worse ice storms. This is just a little bit of freezing drizzle. Roads should be fine. Mm-hmm. It's just sidewalks. Well, a couple of roads that are uncreated. Yeah. So
but not a lot of snow.
No, over the next 2 weeks, we have a lot of cold coming, but very little snow is coming. We're running a snowfall deficit of 15 to 18 inches in Buffalo. We've had snows across the South Towns and the southern tier, but Buffalo's had very little.
Jen Stanonis was posting pictures of skiing this weekend. I mean, the ski country is
it's been great.
Snow, but okay, I'm gonna let you do
She had time to go skiing. I want to go skiing.
Well, her son, funny story. Her son and my son are in the same class at school. And her son asked Elliot if he wanted to come over for like a play date on Sunday. And so I texted Jen, I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring Elliot over for a play date. And she's like, we're skiing.
Oh, that's funny.
So kids not talking to their moms about play dates. But I was excited that she got to go skiing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's been good.
I'm going to leave. You talk about the
it's been certainly cold. I know our neighbors set up an ice rink. You haven't been able to make a nice backyard ice rink around here in a couple years. The weather pattern's been really good for that. Today, 23, cloudy skies, 18 tonight, and then for tomorrow, cloudy with some lake effect snow showers coming off the lake. You can see it's kind of feeble out there, so some flurries. Earlier, we did have a little bit of that freezing drizzle. You can see some of that coming in off Lake Ontario, and that's that. The accumulating snows, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit later in the show, but this is a big storm to our south that is producing some snow into Pennsylvania, but certainly down into D.C. Future Look shows again, a couple of streamers of snow off the lake, temperatures into the teens, and there you can see a few more tonight, tomorrow. Nothing organized, just a couple of streams of snow off Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, so very minor accumulations. Some may wonder with this cold weather that's going to last a while, there could be some ice form on Lake Erie, and I think that's a possibility, especially along the edges, maybe by next week. You see a lot of snowflakes here. That is for small little bands of lake effect. Accumulation will be very minor in the days ahead. For the South Towns and the southern tier, maybe an inch or two. Dry weather on Friday. Saturday, some light snow in the morning. And then for Sunday, the South Towns, the Bills game, it looks like the weather should be good. Dry at this point. I wouldn't completely dismiss the chance of a few snow showers off Lake Erie into Orchard Park on Sunday. But for now, cold but not frigid, and I think pretty good football weather to intimidate a rookie quarterback who's coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of be fun if it was a snow game, but
it would.
But this is good tailgating weather too. It's really great January weather.
It is. It's very wintry, but it doesn't cause any problems.
Sure.
Except even though we had a little ice this morning.
Right. Okay. We'll talk more forecast later. There are some big issues all around the country. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. But first, our other big story this morning, everyone's talking about it. The city of Buffalo dealing with the loss of 2 iconic bars now because over the weekend, Mulligan's Brick Bar caught fire, suffered more than $2 million in damage. This is the old Pink here that you're seeing. This was a fire from 7 months ago, but a city spokesperson says the decision to fully demolish Brick Bar will be up to the owner, possibly, since the building is privately owned. But yeah, within a 7-month span, the old Pink and Mulligan's Brick Bar both were lost in fires. These neighboring locations have had a really special place in all of our hearts throughout the years.
The initial reaction is that this is a devastating loss. It comes so close on the heels of the loss of the Pink. Like the Pink, for nearly a century, the Brick Bar has been a gathering place for people from all around Western New York. It has a special place not just for the residents of Allentown, but for people from all across this region who remember coming down here, meeting their friends, hanging out in college, coming here afterward. And it is irreplaceable on multiple levels.
It actually was not one of the places that I went to very often. You know, there's Chippewa, there's the Elmwood Village, but there's Hurdle. But Allentown, when you lose the Pink and then you lose Brick Bar back to back, it's devastating for people who just love to go there and hang out. And one of those people who's really saddened by the fire is our own Pete Gallivan. And right after Daybreak, he talked with Patrick and me about really why that place was so special to him and his family.
Absolutely, guys. When I woke up yesterday morning and I saw it on my social media feed, I thought it was a fake post. I said, this couldn't be happening again, because as we talked about with the Pink fire over the summer, that was my street. That was the corner I grew up in, the only house I knew until I moved out of town.
So it's not just recent drinking memories. This goes back to your childhood.
This goes back to trick-or-treating. We used to trick-or-treat in the Brick Bar.
My gosh.
And the old Pink was Birdie's 19th hole back then. But yeah, you'd go in and it was just, it's part of the neighborhood. And the other thing that struck me immediately is, if they have to demo this.
I didn't realize there's only 2 of these buildings so old on this block, right?
Well, the block is between Mariner and College, so you got to take that into context. There were when I was a kid, there were 4 buildings there. Okay. You know, but if they have to demo that, it's the entire block, Allen Street. It's just.
Then how do you rebuild? How do you have that, that feeling again, the nostalgia? It's going to be. It's just very, very sad for this city and for people like you who spend so much time there.
Without a doubt, and it's part of the neighborhood. Yeah. That's more of it. Everyone thinks about Rock and Roll Mondays back in the '80s and spending foggy weekends in there and that sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is it's a chunk of that, the landscape of Allentown. And you start losing these old buildings in a historic preservation district, and it's pretty sad, and it changes the dynamic of the whole strip. When I was watching this morning, you've got just the brick wall, but I thought back to the Connecticut Street Armory fire.
Right.
That was gutted except for the stone wall around it. So I think that's when I hear some of the people from Preservation Buffalo and the Allentown Association
save the facade, maybe?
Save the facade.
Anything they can do.
And build it from the inside out, because hopefully. Fingers crossed.
There could be a small bit of hope for whatever's built there to replace this. If you can incorporate some of the old, you refreshen it with the new design, something will hopefully replace it. That's good.
You're not going to recreate the inside.
You're right.
But as long as the streetscape...
it's better than keeping it a vacant lot.
No, you can preserve the streetscape. Right. Absolutely. Okay. And the last 24 hours going back and forth with friends, and it's like, it's the first time I ever met you was with so-and-so, and that those are memories that a fire can't erase. Right. So that's at least we've still got that, but just seeing this.
And it's just the weird similarities, both happening in the dark of night. A large part of the building had storage space involved. Those apartment buildings upstairs were storage. So there's a lot of burnable stuff.
There was a ballroom on the 3rd floor of that building. Second floor was a speakeasy. I did a story 2-3 years ago when the building went up for sale, and I had no idea what was on those upper floors. But there was a lot of history in that, and it's just a shame. But you see the old Pink, and it's just a a memory up in flames, part of my childhood.
And you saw the video of people leaving out, candles and memorials. That was for the old Pink. I can imagine that people are going to be doing that again today. And people were coming by for the old Pink and trying to get bricks from it just to have a little piece of the memory of that building. And you can imagine that that's going to happen again. But it's all blocked off. We had our Natalie Foss out there for Daybreak this morning, reporting live from out there. There were still police officers, still firefighters out there blocking off the area, because with the structural damage, you really don't know if the building's totally going to come down too on its own.
Well, when they tear down stadiums, people like to keep a seat or a piece of the stadium. You kind of have that same experience with the building, wanting a brick, and put it on your own mantle or something. That's kind of tells you it meant a lot to a lot of people. Yeah, so Pete mentioned Rock and Roll Monday. Somebody else who's very familiar with that is Dave Cash. He's got some memories of Brick Bar. Let's hear him.
Hi, Melissa and Patrick. Boy, I was woken to a message from the legendary Dickie Ryan Sunday morning from Mulligan's Brick Bar. Dickie trained me when I worked there in 1986 through 1989. I was the 7 to midnight jock on Classic Hits WGRZ-TV, and on Mondays after I would get off work at midnight, I'd go to Brick Bar and DJ there from midnight till 4 a.m. And I think back to my college days and working there as a disc jockey. What place is packed on a Monday night? Of course, Brick Bar was, but so many memories, so many birthdays and special events celebrated there. It is really sad. I found a few years ago, unbeknownst to me, that my name had been put up on the Wall of Fame, and I was so touched and honored that my little slice of being part of the Brick Bar was something they felt was worthy of putting on there. And just sad that so many memories have gone now. I hope that maybe they might be able to rebuild there or something, but it's almost like your childhood home, when you find that that's gone or you can't go back there anymore if your family moves. And that's what Brick Bar was to so many of us.
Yeah, Dave and Pete with so many similar memories. And I asked some of my social media followers this morning to share their Brick Bar memories with me, and I got a lot of responses. Patty Kavanaugh de Benedetto also mentioned the Monday. She said, great get-togethers with friends on Monday nights, way back when, so sad. And Brent Zurat said, always a great place to stop, always welcomed, and always run into someone you knew. Kind of sounds like the Cheers bar. Yeah. Right? Chris Y said, I'm not sure most stories are shareable.
Well, Pete called it foggy weekends there, so maybe there's a lot of stories you just don't remember.
You know who else might have some foggy stories from there? This one was posted from Phyllis.
I know her.
Tomasano Holmes.
I knew it before I even saw the last name.
Right, her mom. My mom said, if I'm not mistaken, even I went to Mulligan's back in the day. That was before I met your father. Drank too many screwdrivers and got sick in the bathroom.
One of the many reasons
that you shouldn't share.
Love Phyllis for.
We love Phyllis for getting drunk on screwdrivers.
That is so classic.
Thanks for sharing,
and
Mom.
I am going to remember that story for a long time.
I'm sorry I didn't get to go to Brick Bar with my mom and dad.
Yes.
So yeah, continue to share your stories with us, and we'll continue to follow the aftermath of the Brick Bar fire throughout the day here, and we'll let you know whether it will be totally torn down, and also the investigation as that continues today. The other big story people are talking about, the Bills, of course. The Bills and Broncos are set to face off at Highmark Stadium in the wild card round. The Broncos punched their ticket as the 7th seed after they beat the Chiefs 38-0.
You see that?
It was, yes,
crazy.
It's like, what? That was so great. Hot potato, right?
Yeah, hot potato.
Yeah, the Chiefs rested their starters, so that's why the Broncos beat them so easily.
By the way, did you see that play?
Which
the
one?
defender didn't even try to tackle the guy.
Oh.
I mean, I know the Broncos scored 38 points, and were the Chiefs really trying?
It doesn't
seem that way.
Yeah, this is the first time that the Broncos have made the playoffs since 2015.
Yeah.
And while they're really excited about punching their ticket to the postseason, their head coach, Sean Payton, knows that he's got a huge challenge ahead when his team visits Orchard Park. Take a listen.
Look forward to the challenge. They've had a great season. We're familiar with certainly the travel. The last time we were there, it felt like we were there 7 days. We played them Monday night. We got out there Friday. Our plane was delayed. But look, they're a real good football team, and that's why they're the 2 seed. And we're going to have a great week of preparation, and we'll get ready to go.
Now, there is a bit of history between the Bills and the Broncos. Sunday's game will come exactly 33 years after the only other playoff meeting between Buffalo and Denver. January 12th, 1992, saw the Bills and the Broncos square off in the AFC Championship game at Orchard Park. It was expected to be a high-scoring game because it was Jim Kelly and John Elway.
Right.
But the Bills didn't even score one offensive touchdown. They did manage to squeak out the win, though, 10-7. Carlton Bailey picked off John Elway, and it took it back for a touchdown. It was a pick six. And the Bills went on to the Super Bowl, but that's the year that they fell to Washington.
Do you remember the last time the Bills played Denver?
No.
2023, so last season, Monday Night Football.
Okay.
A very close game at the end. The Broncos go to kick a field goal to win it. They miss. Oh. But the Bills had 12 men on the field. And so they got a chance to re-kick it,
Okay.
I believe is how it went down.
Yeah.
And then they end up winning. That was a pivotal game because after that, Ken Dorsey gets fired, and then we changed the direction of the team. But so that was a pretty memorable game as well.
Yeah, but that 1992 playoff game, I was 10 years old. I mean, I remember the Super Bowl games in my head, but I don't specifically remember that game. But thinking now, Elliot's 10 years old. And so he's that same age that I was when the Bills were really, really good. And that's kind of all I knew growing up was this great Bills team. That's all he knows right now is Josh Allen being this amazing quarterback.
You know what would be interesting? You brought up the Bills and 4 Super Bowls and losses. Another team that possibly could make it to the Super Bowl with a similar background is the Minnesota Vikings. They've also been to 4 Super Bowls and have lost 4.
Yeah.
Or something like. My point is, imagine 2 teams like that. I mean, the matchup right now, I know what we're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Bills, Lions sounds just like an amazing nationwide celebration of these 2 classic teams. But, there's another team out there with 4 losses too, but not 4 in a row, but 4 over time. So that'd be kind of interesting.
Now, the Broncos will reunite with a familiar face when they take the field on Sunday. Von Miller emerged as one of the league's best pass rushers when he was with the Broncos. He has the most career sacks in Broncos history. He also won his first Super Bowl ring with the Broncos. And here's what Von had to say about facing his former team.
Have you thought about the prospect of playing your former team, the Broncos, next weekend?
No, I haven't, man. One thing that I've, realized in the playoffs, it's not who you play or when you play or what time. It's taking advantage of each and every moment that you have. It's 1-week seasons. Tomorrow when we're in the weight room, take advantage of that. Wednesday when we come in, meetings, take advantage of that. Not doing more, not doing less, but really just staying in the moment. We got a great team here. We got a great situation. Josh Allen, the defense is on fire right now, going into the playoffs. Let's just take advantage of our moment, not get too ahead of ourselves. Like I said before, don't do more, don't do less. But let's do what works for us, going and taking one play at a time, and I feel good about our chances, no matter who we play.
And Von's going to be going into Sunday's game with a little bit more money in his pocket, too. That sack right there on the Patriots rookie quarterback Drake May on the 3rd play of the game earned Von $1.5 million bonus. Here's what he had to say about the extra payday.
It felt good to, have all my teammates supportive of it and want me to get it, but we got bigger fish to fry. It's not about these weeks coming up. It was a good sack, especially early on. It takes you 3 plays to get there. So I'm very, very thankful and grateful for that, but we got bigger fish to fry.
Seemed like you went down like a sack of potatoes on that one, huh?
Yeah, I know Drake May, that's my guy, man. He's going to be good, man. He's a good quarterback. That's my guy. So they got him out of there, too. So it was just good to get out healthy and, have everything happen as planned.
Was he insinuating that maybe Drake May went down to help Von?
Will he get a little bit of the $1.5 million bonus?
You have to admit, it was not a hard hit. It was kind of like a shove down.
Right. So, yeah, there wasn't much for the team overall to play for, but lots of players were playing for bonuses and little payouts.
And not all coaching staffs would go for that.
Right.
But it seems like a lot of players, even Matt Collins had an incentive. A couple of others players do. And the most interesting one maybe be the punter, Sam Martin, who I guess if he was able to get a punt within the 20-yard line, he would get a $100,000 bonus. The first punt didn't work out.
Right.
The second punt, it's going into the end zone, and
was it Reggie Gilliam? No.
No, it was Ingram. Went
yeah.
into the
Jamarcus
end zone,
Ingram,
Jamarcus, and then hit it out. So they were able to down it like on the 2 or 3. So Sam Martin, and apparently he claimed in an interview he didn't know about this or something. Anyway, I'm sure he knew, but he wasn't sure that, I don't think he realized that it didn't go into the end zone.
The help that he got.
And so all of a sudden he gets $100,000, and then of course the chatter was, okay, you better hook this guy up.
Yeah.
You just made $100,000 on this amazing play in the end zone.
Help Ingram out a little bit.
Dinner or something.
Yeah, okay. And also speaking of the Bills, you know Bills Mafia now are going to really start getting excited for the playoffs. And here's one way they can get excited. New since Daybreak, we just got an email in saying that M&T Bank is once again giving out these really cool banners for the playoffs. So if you go to any Buffalo or Rochester area branch of M&T Bank, you can get this cool Believe Together banner. They're giving away 25,000 of them for absolutely free, first come, first serve basis. Those are pretty cool. And yet, Believe Together. This is when you really see Buffalo come together, united behind sports teams. And it'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be a nice, long playoff run.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I mean, the Broncos have a rookie quarterback. McDermott usually does pretty well against rookies. But they've got a coach and they've got a defense.
Yeah.
So it's not a shoo-in.
Right.
But Bills are favored 7.5 or 8.5.
We'll follow the spread throughout the week for sure. Okay, so while the Bills are enjoying a lot of success, then there's the Sabres. The team is on another losing streak, dropping their last 3 games. The latest loss was to the Vegas Golden Knights, final score 3-1. Jason Zucker was the only one who scored a goal for the Sabres. The losing performance by the team has Captain Rasmus Dahlin really frustrated with how things are going.
Started too late. It just cannot happen in this league. You have to be ready the first whistle. They rolled over us first period, and then we start playing good again. But too late. We have to be better. This is not acceptable.
Yeah. So the last 19 games, the Sabres have only won 3. They went on a 13-game losing streak, then they won 3 games, and now it's another 3-game losing streak. I'm going to the game tonight with Elliot. I did see an email that went out from the Sabres saying all throughout the month of January, you can get tickets starting at $29. I think on the secondary market, they're even a lot less.
And this is against the Capitals tonight?
The best team.
The best team in the Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference, yeah. So that should be interesting.
They tend to play well against really good teams. That's one takeaway about this season.
Sure.
Is they've beaten good teams.
You never know. All right. Luckily, it's a long season. Let's talk about some other winners from last night. The 82nd Annual Golden Globes are in the books now. It was a night full. Oh, doesn't she look gorgeous? That's Zoe Saldana. She won last night. It was a night full of Hollywood.
And her acceptance speech took half the show.
It did. Everyone was really short except for her.
Well, they played the music. They gave her the hook.
No, stop. The award show started off with some buzzworthy lines, though, from host Nikki Glaser. She did a really good job. Take a listen.
Good evening, and welcome to the 82nd Golden Globes, Ozempic's biggest night. If you're watching on CBS, hello. If you're watching on Paramount Plus, you have 6 days left to cancel your free trial. I'm Nikki Glaser, and I am absolutely thrilled to be your host tonight. Thank you. And I gotta say, this feels like I finally made it. You know, I'm in a room full of producers at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and this time, all of my clothes are on. So, yeah. It was worth it. But I am not here to roast you tonight. I want you to know that. And how could I, really? You're all so famous, so talented, so powerful. I mean, you could really do anything. I mean, except tell the country who to vote for. But it's okay. You'll get them next time, if there is one. I'm scared. I look out and I see some of the hardest working actors in show business. And by that I mean your servers. Yes. Yes, give it up. Tilda Swinton is, of course, nominated this year for her role as Timothée Chalamet. You're amazing. Where is Timothée Chalamet? Hi, Timothy. You were great as Timothée Chalamet this year, too. Really. And I love you. And can I just say, you have the most gorgeous eyelashes on your upper lip. I think this is just such a good look. I love you. Dude, you were so good in A Complete Unknown as Bob Dylan. Wasn't he just incredible? So good, dude. Seriously. In fact, I actually read that your singing voice was so accurate that even Bob Dylan himself admitted that it was absolutely horrible. You nailed it. I did not know much about Wicked going into this year because I had friends in high school, but I loved it. I loved it so much. Everyone loved Wicked. I loved Wicked. My boyfriend loved Wicked. My boyfriend's boyfriend really loved Wicked.
Okay, so she was edgy.
But not mean.
But not mean. Not mean.
Right.
Some people may take offense to Bob Dylan's voice being awful, but I thought she came out with confidence and she was pretty good.
Yeah, she was pretty good. Now, as for the winners of the evening, Shogun had a really big night, winning 4 awards, including Best Drama TV Series. Amelia Perez also reeled in 4 awards as well, including Best Musical or Comedy. The Brutalist won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Drama, and then Wicked won for Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. And Demi Moore, it was really special for her. She won Actress in a Musical or Comedy Motion Picture for The Substance. It was her first big award ever.
Well, she said her first award,
40 years.
Think of her, I mean, from G.I. Jane to St. Elmo's Ghost.
Yes.
She made the pottery.
Right.
St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, Few Good Men.
Right. And so her speech was about self-acceptance, and it brought the audience to their feet.
Yes.
Baby Reindeer.
Did it win?
It won for Best Miniseries. So Patrick and I rarely watch the same thing, and we were watching it at the same time. So every day we'd come in and we'd be like, "Oh, this is cute."
And then
what
it's
a cute show.
that took a turn.
It's dark. So Baby Reindeer won, and the woman who played Martha also won for her Best Supporting Role.
And as I'll walk over, the one thing about the television shows, it seems like the Golden Globes are about television shows you've never heard of.
Right.
Because there's so many streaming platforms. They're great shows, but you just don't know where to find them.
But now you can watch them as you prep for the Oscars, because it's always like a preview to the Oscars. So you go do weather again.
Yeah, current temperatures. Back in the old days, you had Frasier, you had Cheers, you had all these network shows, right? St. Elsewhere. Now all these shows, and they're great television. You just got to find them. Okay, we have a big storm that is causing some travel delays. Certainly, flights to D.C. this morning a lot of them were canceled. This thing is moving out to sea. It appears that this system will be followed by another one later this week and into the weekend. That's going to bring crippling snow to places like potentially Dallas. Okay, what I'm trying to say is a lot of these systems are coming through to the south and keeping Buffalo kind of on the dry side, and that includes the Bills game, by the way, Sunday, with the Broncos coming to town. Right now, it looks like it'll be cold but not frigid. Temperatures in the low 30s, 1 o'clock kickoff. There may be some snow showers off the lake, but right now, it looks like it should be mainly dry. Speaking of snow, just a little bit of light snow at times. There are decimal points in front of these numbers. So this isn't 3, 5, 11 inches. This is 0.6, 0.5, 0.3. These are light totals that we're going to see today, tonight, through tomorrow, and maybe a little bit of an uptick as we head towards Wednesday, Thursday. Long-range forecast looks like this. Just some light snow showers over the next couple of days. Dry Friday, Saturday, some snow showers, and then, as you can see, dry weather on Sunday. Click it one more time so you can see the south towns in the southern tier where there might be just a little more there. So ski area is going to benefit from maybe an inch or two of fresh snow, nothing melting. That's good. And you were saying during Daybreak that it's going to be about a 2-week stretch of below average temps. Yeah, and below freezing. Below freezing. Possibly through the end of next week. So it's nothing record-breaking. Right, and no significant snow, just cold. Just cold, and the kind of weather we haven't had here over the last couple winters, kind of, a long period of cold.
One thing. Great day for Most Buffalo today.
Oh,
Lauren Hall
Hall's
is back
back
from maternity. So make sure you tune in to Most Buffalo at 4 o'clock today, and we'll welcome back Lauren. Bye, everybody.